turn it over on this side. So here we have the various bits and pieces that we're going to be looking at. This bearing here, again, the bearings are all provided by BRC and you have to install them. This is the bearing that supports the end of the impeller shaft. There is no power valve, so the power valve pieces need to be removed from the impeller shaft. It's an easy press off and press on job. This is the primary gear, and it will drive the countershaft here. Let me get the countershaft here. Now you can't probably see with the camera, but there's a little mark right here on that particular gear and a mark here. Everything else is controlled by keyways. So if you get those two marks lined up, everything's timed properly for the Okay, so you can see those two little marks line up. We're keyed here. We're keyed here. So they can't be mistimed as a result. This nut gets a substantially strong torque, as does this one, and they are to be treated with something like Loctite Red. Once you put them on and they set, you're going to need some kind of a special tool to keep these from rotating in order to take those two bolts off. We're using the Motion Pro gear jammer, handy little tool, and basically the way it works is you stick it into a couple of gears here, like so, and it jams the gear from turning. So if I were trying to turn it this way, the gears won't turn because the jammer's in place. If I wanted to jam it for turning the other way, I'd put it in from this side. Same deal. A handy little tool. So now we're looking at the kickstarter's been put in place. This is all KTM stuff. The idler gear is KTM, it's in place. You do have to install the idler gear shaft. The shift drum, shifter mechanism is in place. At least for now, the primary gear is in place. There is a sleeve inside that goes in over the crankshaft and takes up the room between the crankshaft and the seal. That sleeve needs to be taken from your donor motor. Otherwise, you'll have to get yourself a new sleeve. It's not part of the kit. So at this point, I'm going to just drop the clutch basket in place on here, and just to show that everything is all connected and working properly. So here's the clutch basket. And when it's in place, everything's working the way it's supposed to. So as long as the clutch does its job, then it'll transmit power to the countershaft. That's this gear here. And everything will be good to go in terms of having some power to the ground. We set it up in neutral. That just seemed like the right thing to do. We don't know if that's, the normal technique. We're just a couple of guys trying to put a motor together here. So there's the clutch basket. And as you can see here, this is the impeller. We put a new aluminum impeller on it. This is the impeller shaft, and ordinarily it has these cutouts which are for balls that are related to the power valve operation. That part of this is gone. It's been removed, so because there is no need for the power valve. Power valve is, if I may show you, power valve is a pneumatic power valve, and it will be basically attached to the cylinder, and it operates on exhaust gas. So we'll just try to lay this in place. Take this off. Just dropped in.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so this is fundamentally how the motor cases will look when they're all put together.